Hello and welcome to the channel. In case you're new here, my name's Ben Ellis. I produced a series of DVDs back in the early 2000s called the High Performance Imports series. These were kind of a spin-off of the magazine I was also producing at the time of the same name. And basically it involved me going to Japan with a couple of cameras in a bag and getting to as many events as I could to come up with material for the DVDs. Actually, at the very start, they were VHS. They became DVDs a little bit later. So there were 10 DVDs in the series, and probably about 5 years after we stopped doing the videos, I uploaded all of them onto YouTube, and you can find them elsewhere on this channel. What I thought I'd do now is a series of video commentaries to give you a little bit of background on what was going on at the time and a lot of the things that didn't make it into the videos. I'm going to do a separate one for each video that was uploaded. I originally uploaded them in chapters rather than having the full videos on there because they were usually well over an hour long. So here we go with part 1 of HPI V1.
Welcome to the first edition of the High Performance Imports video. Our first stop is
Okay,
Motegi,
here we are in
the
Motegi
Toshigi
at the
Prefecture of Japan.
Twin
The famous
Ring.
Motegi Twin Ring circuit is owned by Honda and hosts one round of the American kart series. It's called the Twin Ring because it incorporates an oval
This
NASCAR-style
was
track
a round
and
of the
conventional
All
racetrack
Japan
within the same
Grand
arena.
Touring
The normal
Championship.
track is used for the fifth round of
I
the
was
All
invited
Japan
to this
Grand
round
Touring
by
Championship.
Wayne Gardner,
Many
who
people
at the
will
time was
recognise
racing
these
a
GT cars from the
yellow
PlayStation game
Supra.
Gran Turismo. Sure enough,
He'd
Sony
invited
were
me
there for a
previously
much
to a
simpler
round
game.
at Fuji Speedway, which went really well. And this was a few months later, and unfortunately he completely forgot that he invited me this time. So I got to the gate and they didn't have anything there for me. I had to buy my own ticket. But luckily, I did catch up with the crew and they remembered me, so I was allowed into the pits.
One of the
Yeah,
highlights
the
of the games is the pit walk. This is a chance to spend
GT500
30
cars
minutes
were pretty
checking out
interesting
team
back then.
garages before the race.
That's obviously an R34 Skyline, and it actually did have an RB26, but the Supra, for example, actually used a 3S GTE 4-cylinder because they were limited to 500 horsepower anyway, which they could easily get from that motor, and it was much better for the balance of the car to have a 4-cylinder than a big heavy 2JZ, or 2JZ for some people. This is the Takata NSX, which was very successful in those days. I think it might have won the race that day.
From the more powerful GDRs, Supras and
And
NSXs
Supras
in the GT500
sort of on their
class,
way out by
the
then. They
Silvias
didn't
and
seem to
Toyota
be as
MR2s that
successful.
dominate GT300.
The Porsches
Some
seemed to do very
European
well
makes
in
such as Porsche
GT300
and
though.
Ferrari
They had
also
a
compete in
bit of a
GT300.
natural advantage, I think.
Naturally, they all
This
take their jobs very
was
seriously.
Taniguchi's FD RX-7. He raced in that series for quite a while. And Matsumoto Kiyoshi, which is sort of a 100 yen shop in Japan, I think. I had a bit of a disadvantage here because I was filming all by myself, so pretty hard to actually cover the race. At least I got the start.
A rolling start is used to reduce the number of accidents. GT500 cars come through in the first group. GT300 cars then follow. They may be slower, but they're just as exciting to watch.
In case you're wondering, that's Jesse Taylor doing the voiceover. At the time he was working with me at Express Publications. And
They also have more than their
I think
fair
at
share
the
of
time he was
accidents.
doing Hot Fours magazine, but he went on from there to do either Wheels or Motor magazine. This is at the back half of the circuit, which is really the only other part you could get to. A lot of the infield was completely inaccessible, and one whole part of the track you couldn't get to because of the big oval circuit that goes over the top of it. It's a lot easier at Fuji Speedway actually. So I'll be uploading that video later on.
The back half of the stadium part of the track. We'd show you the rest of the race, but it takes about 3 hours. Instead, let's see the other major attraction of GT events, the Campaign Girls.
So on the original version of this video that I uploaded, I had the actual music that these girls were dancing to. Unfortunately, I got pinged for that on YouTube, so I've replaced all of the audio for the rest of this section with one of my own songs. I really feel sorry for these girls. They have a hell of a job when they're at the events, and they still do have a lot of these so-called race queens at racing events in Japan, and they have a huge lineup of guys all trying to get photos with them and get them to sign things. A lot of the popular ones have got their own fan clubs and that kind of thing. But yeah, the outfits are really pretty over the top in some cases. Mind you, I found the more of this sort of stuff I put on the videos, the more popular they were. Love the way they wave, all from the elbow. I don't know if all of these companies are still around. I mean, it's been over 20 years, so some of them may have disappeared by now. Most of them have something to do with automotive products. Quite often the girls have to get up on stage and talk about the brand they're representing. I don't know if anybody was paying much attention really, but they took plenty of photos. We certainly weren't the only ones taking videos there on the day. Although back then there was no YouTube, so I don't know what they're all doing with those videos. Personal use perhaps. Anyway, yeah, these girls were on stage various times during the day, showing off their choreography and lip syncing. I don't know if they ever went on to fame and fortune after this, but they were certainly popular on the day. Anyway, that's the first part of the first video. There'll be many more to come, so please like and subscribe and all that sort of thing. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.